Everyone stand. It's not stand. The county commission will now be in session with the Honorable Richard Venable, Mayor presiding.
Thank you, Phil. I'd like to welcome you all here tonight. We've got important county business to conduct, and hopefully we can do that with good manners and decorum. Commissioner Crawford, would you lead us in our invitation?
Let's bow for prayer, please. Wonderful Lord, it is with grateful hearts that we come before you this evening to give you thanks and praise for the abundant life that you provide for us. Good health. God, we pray as we go forward with this meeting that you would give us the mindset and the understanding of doing what's best for our county as we go forward for this coming year. Bless this time now, for it's in your name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Phil, would you lead us in prayer?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. We have all members in their seats, so Madam Clerk, would you take the roll? Everyone checked in? Madam Clerk, take the roll.
22 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. Next item on our agenda, Commissioner Cross, would you, we have a sign-up sheet. This item is public comment, and we always welcome the public. Jonas and Sherry will comment with us about issues before the county commission. Don't have anyone signed up at this point in time. If somebody did see the sheet that was there and came in late and couldn't get to it, for any reason, if you want to address the commission, we allow 3 minutes for each person, maximum 30 minutes. Seeing no one, I'll declare the public comment section closed. Next up, resolutions. Jenny, you have 4 resolutions tonight. Budget Committee Chairman, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Akers, you're recognized on item number 1.
Thank you, Chairman. Item number 1 is a resolution setting the tax levy for Sullivan County, Tennessee for the year beginning July 1st, 2024 at a rate of $2.49,620 per 100 of assessed value. In section 1, as discussed in 2 previous meetings, is the rate for the general fund, the solid waste, highway fund, general purpose school fund, county capital projects, general debt service, which gets us to the total tax rate of $249,620. Any questions?
Chairman Baker moves adoption of item number 1, second by Vice Chair Alton. Properly moved. Do we have any discussion? Any questions for this one? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and vote on item number 1. When the board opens, cast your vote on item number 1. Everyone vote. Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
15 yes, 7 no, 2 absent.
Have received necessary majority. Item number 1 is adopted. Next up, item number 2, Mr. Akers. Chairman Akers, you're recognized on item number 2.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Item number 2, a resolution authorizing appropriations for the various funds, departments, institutions, offices, and agencies of Sullivan County, Tennessee for the year beginning July 1st, 2024, and ending June 30th, 2025. I know it's been looked at and read a couple times. It's quite a few pages long, so give everybody a chance to ask some questions.
Chairman Akers moves adoption on second and final reading, seconded by Commissioner Calhoun. We're in discussion session. As the chairman said, take your time on moving through the document. And if you have questions, I think Commissioner Carr has a question now, so we'll recognize you, Commissioner Carr.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually don't have a question. I was wanting to make a motion. I would like to make a motion from the floor to amend the library budget to be the same as the previous year.
You've heard we have a proper motion to amend item 2. We have a second. Seeing none, motion dies like I said. You're a little late. But I'm going to allow that. I'll allow that motion. Everybody have their opportunity to discuss. We have a second. Any discussion?
But just clarify which line item we're looking at here. Sorry.
Madam Clerk, can you give the,
56,500, the library's account of 1,162,445.
Wanting to amend it to be the same as it was last year.
Commissioner Calhoun, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner Carr, is that, if it's the same as last year, is that without the car purchase, is that different?
I believe they got a grant for that.
Partial,
Yeah.
but you still want to leave it as is, okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Commissioner Mayberry, you're recognized.
And Chairman, that's all I was asking about. I just wanted him to elaborate specifically what he was requesting.
Thank you. Mr. Bailey, you're recognized.
The only change in that budget is for the 5% raise for the employees as other employees are getting. That's the only change in that budget. That's why there's an increase there.
But we'll have to vote on the amendment, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That's information helping Commissioner. Still want to vote on your motion? Okay. Commissioner Cross, you're recognized.
If the only change is for the 5% for employees, I have to at least say that I disagree with this because all other county employees are receiving a 5% raise. That is all.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. We'll do a roll call vote. We won't put this on the board. So this is a motion. Commissioner Carr, second by Commissioner Page. And board's clear, so we're ready to vote. Madam Clerk, would you take the vote on the motion by Commissioner Carr?
Baker,
No.
Calhoun,
No,
Carr,
Yes.
Cole,
No.
Crawford,
No.
Cross,
No.
Crosshart,
No.
Gardner,
No.
Glover,
No.
Harvey,
No.
Hayes,
No.
Horn,
No.
Iverson,
No.
Jones,
No.
King,
No.
Leonard,
No.
Rock, absent. McMurray,
No.
Means,
No.
Pierce,
No.
Slagle,
No.
Stidham,
No.
Vanover,
No.
Ward, absent. Would anyone like to change their vote?
Madam Clerk, announce the vote.
1 yes, 21 no, 2 absent.
I received a majority in the negative, the motion is rejected. Back on the original item, and discussion on that item. Any questions or responses? Seeing none, the board opens. Cast your vote on item number 2. Everyone voted? Anyone wish to change your vote? Madam Clerk, cast the vote.
22 yes, 2 no. I'm sorry, excuse me, 20 yes, 2 no, 2 absent.
Thank you. Having received the necessary majority, item number 2 is adopted. Next up, item number 3. Mr. Record, you're recognized on item number 3.
Thank you, Chairman. Item number 3 is the third part of the budget process. It's the resolution appropriating funds to various charitable, civic, and nonprofit organizations for the fiscal year. You have the right date, 23, 24? Yeah, 24, 25. All right, typo in that.
Chair moves adoption, seconded by Commissioner Calhoun, Madam Chairman. Any discussion? Commissioner Calhoun.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I make an amendment? Can I suggest amendment?
The floor is open for a proper amendment.
Okay, on Second Harvest, I would like to put the total back to 25,000. For the simple fact is that they provide nourishment and hope while engaging the region in a fight being hunger. They do a lot of meals, a lot of pounds, give out a lot of food at different churches. And I just feel like they do this for 8 counties, but they do so much. And I would like to amend it back to 25,000.
Proper motion, do we have a second?
Got a second?
Seconded by Commissioner Stidham, Commissioner Harvey. Now we're discussing, on the motion to amend item number 3. Mr. King, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. When we first started our budget, we, in the past, we've gone through these nonprofits and, each committee had part of them, and they did part of them, and, all 3 committees. And it was decided that the administrative committee was going to do the nonprofits this year by themselves. They had people coming in there, they did interviews, asking what they was wanting, why they needed it, and all this. And I think they did a good job of what they did. And they got down to where they got basically the nonprofits 50%. And I think that's where we need to be. I think the ones that, that they're trying to, the people's trying to put back or have put back, I think in the full commission, we need to vote on this to take it back to the full 50% that they decided to take out. And I think this is a good step in the right direction. I think we could do 50% this year, 50% next year, and wipe this slate clean of the nonprofits And then, if there's things that we need to look at, and support, then I think we need to do that. But I can't come in here and vote to raise our taxes and then turn right around and give it to these groups. I'm sorry, I just can't do that. The people that, my district, we've got a lot of hard-working people that's struggling right now, and, you know, they need every bit of money that they can, have right now, and, to tax them and then turn around and give it to these other nonprofits, I mean, totally against that. So, I would, make a motion that we put all the nonprofits back to the 50% of what the administrative committee, brought forward to us. And I'll do that in the form of a motion.
There's an amendment on the floor.
There's an amendment, but I'll make an amendment when she gets done, when we vote with her. After she gets done with her, then I'll.
Okay, so you withdraw your.
I'll withdraw it right now, yes.
Okay, I was gonna consult with our county attorney, see if we could have a motion
Right.
on the amendment, and I think we could, quite honestly. Commissioner Harvey, you recognize.
Thank you. The administrative committee did review each of these not-for-profits. They did not vote on them individually. They just came up with a proposal to cut everybody 50% without going through and giving them the courtesy of looking at each one individually. I was thankful that the budget committee did do that. They looked at several of them individually and tried to determine if this was something that made sense for our local government to partner with. And these not-for-profits are the very agencies that are helping these people that are struggling every day. The homeless, the poor, the people that are abused domestically, children who are sexually abused. We need to rescue these people just like we rescue people in the EMS, just like we rescue the people that our firefighters are going out to rescue. We need to be a part of that. We don't have to do it in a large amount, but we need to show that we agree with and support what our not-for-profits are doing in this community. It makes our community healthier. It makes our community better. It makes us better. So please, please look at these and do not cut them 50% without looking individually at what these not-profits are doing. Profits are doing. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion on Commissioner Calvin's motion? Seeing none, we're ready to vote. We won't have that on the board. We will have a roll call vote on the motion to adopt. Madam Clerk, take vote.
Baker,
No.
Calvin,
Yes.
Carr,
No.
Cole,
Yes.
Crawford,
Yes.
Cross,
Yes.
Crosswhite,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Glover,
No.
Harvey,
Yes.
Hayes,
No.
Horn,
Yes.
Iverson,
No.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
No.
Leonard,
Yes.
Locke, absent, McMurray,
Yes.
Means,
No.
Pierce,
No.
Slagle,
No.
Stidham,
Yes.
Vanover,
No.
and Ward. Ward was absent. Would anyone like to change their vote? 12 yes, 10 no, 2 absent.
And fail to receive a majority of the motion fails. Back on the item number 3. Mr. Carr, you're recognized.
I was gonna make another motion from the floor, but I'll let Dwight do his first.
Dwight, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I would like to make a motion that we go back to the administrative committee's recommendation to cut the nonprofits 50% across the board. That's fair. I think that's a fair way to do that. That way we're not singling anybody out. Everybody's getting the same cut across the board. And there again, our taxpayers, they don't have the freedom to tell us how to spend their tax money over here. And I know that the people in my area, I truly believe if I ask the people in my area, that's the way they would want it, is to take the nonprofits out. If you're really wanting to do something for some of these nonprofit organizations, there's all kinds of fundraisers, there's all kinds of ways to donate money for them, to fundraise, and there's other ways to give money other than having government give them money. And for that, I ask that I'll make this motion that we do this.
You make the motion that the recommendation of the administrative committee on cutting not-for-profits be restored.
Yes.
I'm going to ask the chairman a moment here and ask Mr. Bailey or Leslie, how many not-for-profits do not reflect the decision of the administrative committee in the budgets presented today?
You know, these are questions, what was restored by action of any of the
Children's Advocacy Center.
One.
And there's one more.
The Sullivan County Imagination.
Well, that was not in the original.
That was a new one.
Not in the original. We're talking about restoring.
Commissioners, you need to know you're dealing with one. That's the only change that was made to the recommendation of the administrative committee with one agency, and it was the Children's Advocacy. I took a chairman's moment to make sure you knew what you're voting on. You're voting on one. Okay.
Okay. One other thing, the fire departments and rescue squads are not included in this motion. That's totally different.
That's understandable. I believe the motion is proper.
Okay.
Okay, we've got a board full of people. Commissioner Akers, you're recognized.
Yeah, I was gonna have the Commissioner King clarify. I think it was just one nonprofit that got changed, right? Yeah. So I just wanna make sure we don't screw up. I just wanna make sure we're understanding it's a child advocacy center, correct? Okay.
Okay. Commissioner Crosswhite, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I was the one that I was appalled that they cut the Children's Advocacy Center in Hackett. This center helps our emotionally and physically abused children. And our children need this service. So I hope and pray that this doesn't pass, that we keep the Children's Advocacy Center at, it's $15,000. It's not going to break the county, but it's sure going to help a lot of children. So remember this, please, when you vote.
Hey, Commissioner, any further discussion on this? Thank you. Any further discussion on Commissioner King's motion? Board clear, motion is properly seconded. Motion before you, so Madam Clerk, take a vote on the motion.
There's one more to speak.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sam, you got in late. But I always am happy to recognize
I just want to be clear that a yes vote on this would take the Children's Advocacy Center 15,000, cut that in half. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're
you.
doing?
Mr. Sponsor? What is the net effect of the motion? He's asking you to discuss from $10,000 to 5.
From 15, no, it's 15.
It was 15, so it's cut it 7,500.
Right, yeah.
Okay. That's what you're voting on.
That's the only change that
Should be.
came.
Okay, Mr. Bailey, you're right now.
Keep in mind, after the administrative committee cut those in half, they did come back due to one of the, I believe it was Bluff City Park, withdrew their request, and that was allocated $800 something, $333 back to each one of those.
Thank you, Mr. Bailey. I've got you. Here's Mr. Crawford first.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make this clear. I cannot make an amendment to White's resolution until we vote, correct? And then can I do an amendment to put the,
Well, I think under our rules of order that you could move to amend this motion.
okay, I want to amend his motion, I'm mad now. Child Advocacy Center to its full $15,000, what they requested.
Well, that's your original motion. No, you didn't make a motion, I'm sorry.
No, I didn't. I just said I'm not-
You just made a statement. So the motion is to, Ms. Crawford, the motion is to pass the resolution as it now exists. He has not successfully cut that yet.
Okay,
So
then I can come
your
back.
motion is to be moved, so we need to vote on this motion before you move to restore it. Mr. Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like Mr. Bailey instructed, when we got done with the 50% cuts, Bluff City did not request any additional funding for the Parks and Rec this year. We added money back in, so the total amount would be $6,667 be the cut from that nonprofit. So if it passed, it would be adding back on 6667. That's the total, that's the amount that will be added back.
Move. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Iverson, you're recognized.
As we were talking earlier, last year, the nonprofits in my mind was the hardest thing that we did, just because it was broken up into administrative and executive, and then it came back to the budget committee, and it was a very cumbersome process. This year, I like that we went to the one committee doing everything, because they had everyone come in and talk to them. They went over the numbers, they were able to look and see what the needs were. I think there's a lot of fantastic organizations here in this nonprofit. I think a lot of those, I actually give money to some of them. But in general, I think that that's one of the things that I'm opposed to, government giving money to nonprofits. I think that we raise taxes to do the county's business, and we take the tax money and we use it for the county good. But when we're sitting here in this room and we just raised taxes 9 cents, and at the same time we're talking about giving some of it away to a nonprofit, I know it's a very small number, and don't get me wrong, it's an incredibly small number when you look at the size of our budget. But whenever I decide if I'm going to give money to nonprofits, I take my finances and I look at my money and I give the extra money that I have, I'll take that and I'll give it to nonprofits or use it wherever I use it. it's really hard for me to sit here and say, we're gonna give the extra money that we have to a nonprofit when we in fact just raise taxes. So I have a little bit of a struggle with this, even though it's a very small number. I still don't think that government should be giving away money, giving away taxpayers' money to nonprofits.
Mr. Butler, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If this full body of the commission would remember what we did back in November of this past year, we passed a resolution to give our veterans, our elderly, a tax break for their property tax and help them save their homes. And the more money that we save on these nonprofits, that will be something that we can approach and maybe do this year to keep these folks, give them some tax relief. Some of these poor people that $147 a them was, a lot of money. They had to save all year long to pay the property taxes. And I think more will say, hopefully we can do that again this year. And I'm on board. We worked really hard cutting the nonprofits. Second Harvest Food Bank's got millions of dollars laying there that's successful. Some of the other nonprofits also have a lot of money that's accessible. Our taxpayers don't. So I'm in favor of cutting and leaving cutting 50% for the nonprofits.
Thank you.
Commissioner Howard, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I rarely speak up here. A lot of times I want to and bite my tongue. But if we're talking about cutting from the CAC, if that's what's on the table here, which is what I'm understanding, I don't know if any of you have, some of you may have, but I've been involved with that CAC many, many times, and I've sat there and watched those folks work with a 4-year-old who's been raped, or a 4-year-old who's a victim of a murder. They do not need a penny taken away from them. If anything, they need more added. There may be some on this list that we need to evaluate and save money for the county that we may not need to give, but this is not one of them. They need this money. I just wanted to say that it was on my mind, and I know that it was mentioned, cutting specifically, the Child Advocacy Center was mentioned. They do not need money cut from their money. If that's what they ask, that's what they need. Yes, we have to evaluate our finances when we're giving to nonprofits, but this is a service that our community needs over there. And if you haven't been over there to check out what goes on and the work that they do, please do, because they are amazing. And they make the jobs of law enforcement and others that are dealing with those situations much easier, because they are specifically trained to deal with those situations and those individuals in the middle of it.
Mr. Cross.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just seeking a point of clarification. Amongst this conversation, you did mention Bluff City Parks, and I was looking through the list and I did not see it. Were you saying that will be, I misunderstood what you were saying there. This is Mr. Glover. I just missed, I didn't see it on the list.
And I believe the chairman can address
Oh,
that.
yes,
Mr. Cross.
thank you.
I know I can, or Commissioner. Bluff City Parks and Rec did not request any funding. They said they didn't need any this year. So since they had money in the past, that $15,000, that's what Commissioner Glover was talking about. They divvied that up to when they cut the nonprofits in half and then added $833 back to it. That's what he was talking about.
Thank you. I just didn't see it. That's
Yes.
seeking clarification. Thank you.
Commissioner Crosswhite.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to make sure I understood Mr. Glover. What's on our budget right now is being cut in half, and we want to cut it in more. Correct?
He is the second one. Okay. I can only get 5 on at one time. Commissioner Butler, you're
Mr. Crosswhite, when Love City Parks and Rec did not request any money, they was $6,667 cut and held back from the total amount. So if you'll be adding $6,667 back on. So what you'll be doing is adding that back, that'll be above the 15,000, but we've done for everybody else. That was the original request. So if you would cut that in half, it would be 6667. So if your motion passes, you would be adding 6667 back to the deficit.
But we're not cutting any other nonprofits any farther than what they're on the budget right now, correct?
Let's not have a discussion. We have questions and answers. We have to take it. Thank you. Okay, we're back on the original motion by Commissioner King. It appears you may be ready to vote since the board is clear. Unless somebody, well, somebody, time I say the board is clear. Joe, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. I was on the administrative committee, and I can tell you that's probably one of the most, in my opinion, one of the most tragic situations. Every person that came there, every group that came there, I wanted to give them money, wanted to. But we're staring at a situation right now where I don't know, as a government, if we have it. And that was the agreement that we came to, is trying to cut it just so we can help everybody out and have the government run and function. I'm almost at a point where I feel like, I'll donate personal money and to try to cover some of this cut, but I agree, I think we need to cut the nonprofits 50%, because we are going to have to balance this budget. We might make it through this year, but down the road, this is going to pile up on us real quick. And I get the feeling that, I've only been to a casino maybe once or twice in my life, but it's almost like you're playing with house money. Now, would we personally, of our own money, would we donate to this? Well, we ought to, because this is our taxpayers' money. It really is. And if we wouldn't personally do this, how can we do it with other people's money? I know the CAC, and I know what Commissioner Horn is talking. As a DA, I've been through that process. That is, by far, that's the Lord's work. That is really good, everything that they do. But I don't know financially how much more we can keep giving. I do think that we need to cut. And I agree. I think we need to try to cut 50%.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Harvey, you recognize.
So it concerns me that when we looked at these not-for-profits, that we didn't look at them individually, because individually there were not-for-profits in there that, somebody asked for a kitchen, to fund a kitchen in a community, that's ridiculous. So we didn't even have a chance to look at that and distinguish the difference between that and these agencies that are saving these women and these children that are being abused. I don't see any difference. And you talk about not-for-profits. The volunteer fire department is a not-for-profit. You can say, well, we're going to make that separate. But it's a not-for-profit. It's the same thing. They go out on the highway and they rescue people that have been in an accident or a fire. And these other people are rescuing these domestically abused and women and children, as well as all of the other agencies who are feeding these people, helping the homeless. It makes our community better. It makes us better that we are part of that. We're partnering. We can't do it all, but we can be a part of that and say, we support you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Let me recount where we are, what the discussion has been. Mr. King has voted to restore all the cuts that were recommended by the administrative committee. We have proper motion by, or proper action by the budget committee, and a vote by the budget committee to restore those cuts on Children's Advocacy Center only. So that's what you're voting on. It's simply not the other cuts. They're intact. The only change in the budget that the two to the budget committee. There's only 2 changes in it, and one of them is that. And there's, I use this just to lecture just a little bit because it's explaining where we are. We have 3 equal committees, and each one of them make recommendations, but here is where it's decided. Committees make recommendations, but here among the whole body is where it's decided. So, Commissioner King has a proper motion before you, and Commissioner Akers, you receive recognition.
I was just here in case I needed to speak.
Okay, thank you. Think we're ready to vote. So, it's not going to be on the board. We'll have a roll call vote. Madam Clerk, take the vote on Commissioner King's motion.
Baker,
No.
Calhoun,
Yes.
Carr,
No.
Cole, Crawford,
No.
Cross,
No.
Crosswhite,
Yes. No, I apologize, sir.
Let's make sure we know what we're voting on.
I apologize, it's so
I think we got all right. We have a proper motion on the floor by Commissioner King to restore the cuts that were recommended by the administrative committee. Now, we'll leave the agency out of the question, because I think somebody was voting for or against the agency. You're not voting on that, you're voting on restoring the cuts, which includes that. So, let's do that again. As I saw the votes coming, a little confusion to people. Everybody clear on this?
Now.
Everybody clear? Yes vote,
Right.
restore the cuts that the administrative committee recommended. A no vote, the rejection vote. Madam Clerk, would you take the
Baker,
No.
Calhoun,
No.
Carr,
No.
Cole, Crawford,
No.
Cross,
No.
Crosswhite,
Yes. No.
Okay.
So, no, I'll get this straight. This is not including the children's advocacy center.
It has nothing to do with children's advocacy.
Okay.
It's to restore that cut.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
what's your vote? No. Gardner,
My vote is no.
Glover,
Yes.
Harvey,
No.
Hayes,
No.
Horn,
No.
Iverson,
No.
Jones,
No.
King,
Yes.
Leonard,
No.
Clark, Addison, McMurray,
Yes.
Means, yes. Pierce,
No.
Slagle,
No.
Stevens,
No.
Vanover,
No.
Ward, Addison. Would anyone like to change the vote? 4 yes, 18 no, 2 absent.
Having failed to receive the majority of the motion because failed, we're back on the original item number 3 in discussion. Mr. Carr, on item number 3.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I also served this year on the administrative committee when we took a look at every single nonprofit. And I found something on the website of one of these nonprofits that goes against my deeply held principles. And rather than have a committee address it, I wanted it to be addressed publicly with a vote. And this is not a cut that I want to make permanently. I just want to make it until this issue is addressed. It's an organization that I think does a lot of good work in Sullivan County, but I think this needs to be taken care of. If you look at the front page, first paragraph of the branch house, and I have copies of that here with me if every commissioner would like to see it. It says that they do not turn people away regardless of gender, sexuality, age, income, or immigration status. So we just voted to raise people's taxes, and yet here we are about to turn around and give money to an organization that on the front page of their website, not even hiding it, they say that they will help out illegal immigrants. Now, I think they do a lot of really good work in our community, and I would like to see that money restored to them after they take care of that language. But regrettably, I must make a motion to pull all funding for the branch house from the budget.
Thank you. On item number 3, further discussion.
It is $25,333.
Commissioner,
Archie
you're not recognized for any further.
Archie asked a question, I was just answering it, sir.
I'm sorry? You're not recognized any further. You're out over. We're back on number 3. Commissioner Sherman.
I think the question of it, it's, down there it's $25,333 is what Commissioner Carr's requesting. Is there a second? No.
I can't agree with that, Chair. Any further questions? Any further discussion? Looks like you're ready to vote on item number 3. When the floor opens, cast your vote on item number 3. I'm sorry? On item number 3?
His amendment.
He made a motion.
I misunderstood you, Mr. Carter. Did you make a motion?
Yes, sir.
And you have a second. Who seconded?
I believe there was a second.
I'm sorry? Did anybody second? Then the motion dies for lack of a second. We're back on item number 3. When the floor opens, cast your vote on item number 3. Everyone voted. Anyone wish to change the vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
19 yes, 3 no, 2 absent.
Have received necessary majority. Item number 3 is adopted. Ladies and gentlemen, you have adopted the budget for 2024-25. Congratulations. At this time, I believe we have Commissioner Glover seeking recognition. Sam, we're not through it, and Dwight, we're not through with Mr. Glover. Mr. Baker? Mr. Baker? Sam, I'll get you next. We have,
It's just administrative.
I'm sorry?
Administratively, this needs to be corrected to the correct budget year. The front of this document, every date on it's wrong.
We can correct typographical errors. Thank you. Thank you. You all know that. Typographical errors. And we can correct that. Thank you, Sam. Mr. Akers, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chairman. I know we got one more item. I just want to say, first of all,
We're not on that item 4 yet.
no, I was just going to say, you know, that's what the budget process is all about. It's not easy. It's not always clean. It takes a lot of hard work. There are processes in place, and we don't always agree. But as was mentioned multiple times, we try to spend the county taxpayers' money in the most judicious way possible. And making that's probably the first tax increase I voted on in 6 years, you know. It's not easy to cut, as we've seen. And so I want to thank, I think it was a good process. It may seem a little chaotic, but that was part of the process. That's what we go through. That's why we're here. And I'm glad everybody showed up and everything went out here. And saw some scouts back there with the government information in here and everything. And so, just from, as chairman of the budget committee, those were hard decisions. We spent a lot of time, I felt like, and tried to do the best we could. And we passed the budget. It may not be the perfect budget, but it's a budget that fulfills the needs of Sullivan County and gives pretty much a 5% pay raise across the board for our employees. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Mr. King, your solid recognition.
There were some people that had some questions before we get to number 4. Can we take about a 10-minute recess before we come back? I didn't think
If we have, let me make clear, we have interruptions like that, I've allowed you to applaud things that you like, but if we have interruptions like that, I will clear this courtroom. Be assured of that. Mr. King, you
10 minutes.
Recess.
10 minutes. 10-minute recess.
It is now 6:53, we'll reconvene at 7:03. We're recessed.
Have mercy.
Make a resolution.
County Commission back in session. Keep quiet, please.
Thank you. We're ready to resume. Thank you for the recess. I think some of us needed for some of it. Commissioner, did you still seek recognition?
Whenever you're ready.
You're ready.
All right, thanks, Chairman. And again, thank you. Let us take a little break. Item number 4.
We're not ready, Brian. Okay, we're not ready. Commissioner Glover had sought recognition and all the other items. Commissioner Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to read to you a couple of letters here, if I could, please. This first letter is from Tennessee Comptroller of the Treasury, from Comptroller Jason Mumpower to the Mayor and the Board of Commissioners. It says, over the past few weeks, several members of the governing body have reached out to me regarding the proposed increase in the appropriations for the 25 school year budget. The Board of Education wants to implement a 15% pay increase for all school personnel. This increase is recurring expenditures, will be financed with fund balance, a non-recurring source of funds. The question has been asked if the County Commission can legally approve the use of fund balance to pay for current expenditures. The answer is yes. However, a general rule of sound financial management is to use recurring revenue to pay for recurring expenditures. Failing to adopt structurally balanced budgets will eventually lead to financial distress. Should you choose to move forward, adequate safeguards need to be in place to make sure fund balance is not depleted over the next few years and remains at a level to provide for adequate reserves. Furthermore, consideration should be given to the state funding that will be coming in the next few years to fund increased salary levels for school instructors pursuant to Teacher Paycheck Protection Act. Very truly yours, Jason Mumpower. That leads to the next letter that I want to introduce to the Commission and to the school department and school board, school employees. If you give me just a minute. This letter concerns the Comptroller of the Treasury, Jason Mumpower, dated July 29th. Failing to adopt structurally balanced budgets will eventually lead to financial distress. We've already talked about that. This Sullivan County Board of Commissioners wishes to better develop and define open resolution number 2024-0707 request from the Board of Education, thus establishing safeguards that ensure fund balance is not depleted over the next few years and remains at a level to provide adequate reserves. Safeguards for implementation of the Teacher Paycheck Protection Act to protect teachers and taxpayers. The Teacher Paycheck Protection Act, the largest salary increase for educators in our state's history, provided from the state funding, must be committed to school instructor raises reflected in the 24-25 budget and any future budgets. Teacher salary increase initiative as defined by Tennessee Governor Bill Lee and the legislators to assure each beginning certified teacher can be more fairly and reasonably served with an assigned increase of $62.89, even when 15%, served with an assigned increase of $62.89, even when a 15% calculation identifies a larger amount and is adaptable formula for the pool of school instructors. Principals, assistant principals, supervisors, certified and non-certified, can be more fairly and reasonably provided an increase up to $62.89, even when the 15% calculation identifies a larger amount. Support staff can be more fairly and reasonably provided a 15% salary increase up to $62.89, even when the 15% calculation identifies a larger amount. And I would like to stop there just a minute to touch base. The last several years, our support staff in the schools and so forth have been looked over time and time again. 1% raise one year, and then the next year, we're going to take care of you, we're going to move forward with you. That's never happened. This support staff and the hard workers in our schools are there before the teachers get there. They're there after the teachers leave. They clean, they work, they cook. They provide a safety and healthy environment for our kids. And we really want to see those folks taken care of. And when I read on to this, 2025 comprehensive salary increase initiatives for Sullivan County Board of Education employees. The total amount for the $62.89 to get the teachers and administrators up to the $62.89 or 15%, whichever identifies the larger amount, is $5,808,671 for the 25 budget, and that must be included in any future budget request from Sullivan County Finance and considered by and approved by the Sullivan County Board of Commissioners. This is a less difference of $2,146,020 for future encumbrance from 15% original Board of Education request. A routine report is to be made to the County Commission as the regular session each quarter so that the legislative body can assess how this initiative is progressing and adequate reserves are not assured in addition, and importantly, as required, payers of taxes can be informed. And what I'm getting at is, when you look at the 15% raise across the board, but there's some employees going to get $15,000, $16,000, $17,000. And that was going to put a lot of the starting teacher pay and a lot of the teacher pay that's been there for years at a very unbalanced situation. We want all the teachers, even starting teacher pay and the teachers that's been teaching for years, to be treated equally and fair. And the $62.89 would do that across the board for each teacher and each worker. So that's the proposal. And last week we had some comments and we had some people here from the school board and we had some folks here from the classroom, and that's very appreciative for that information. And we were promised by the school board that, trust us, we want to work with you. We want you to work with us. We want to work together to make this happen. And that's what we did. Well, we received a letter that if we did not agree with the 15% across the board for all employees, that we were more or less probably sued by the school board attorney. And we don't want that to happen. We don't want any problems in the future with our, how do I want to put this? We want to do it fair, and we want to do it fair across the board, and we want to be fair to every teacher. The teachers that's in the classrooms working with the kids every day and going home and doing grading papers and doing work after class, I think they're very important. And I think the $62.89 for them and all the other employees across the board would be important. But we don't want any litigation with the school board. We want to work with them and we want them to work with us. But telling us one week that and then getting a letter from the school board attorney 4 or 5 days later saying we don't do the 15% is not how you do county business. And I just feel like we should all work together on this to make sure this happens. And we should all try to get along and make this happen. We don't want the fund balance to drop down. When you start pulling about $8 million a year out of that fund balance within just a few years, you're pulling $16 million or more out. And, we want to make sure this raise goes through for the teachers that it can be afforded and paid for each of you. So, that's what I've got to say. I would like to know why that this school board attorney was contacted. I would like to know who from the school board, contacted this attorney to send us this letter. I just don't think this attorney would send it to us out of the blue. I would like to know who the school board member was. I'm sure the taxpayers would like to know who these school board members were. But, leaving it at that, Mr. Chairman, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Glover. As every member, Mr. Glover had passed out at the Financial Management Committee meeting last week a letter that he wanted to read into the record. And has every member seen that letter? Anybody has not seen that letter? Ms. Glover wanted to make a motion to amend the budget for consideration by this body of his proposal that is contained in that letter. The controller, assistant controller of the state of Tennessee has advised me and staff that that would not be a proper motion to amend the school budget on spending funds in your fund balance. Restrict the school board. So therefore, a motion to adopt this would not be in order, but it is a proposal that each of you have seen. And many of you come to me with comments on that proposal. As you know, item 4 is an up or down vote without further consideration. It's an up or down vote on the original request by the school board. In light of the proposal that cannot be a motion, I've had enough commissioners come to me and say we would like to consider that, and we would like for the school board to consider the alternative proposal before we vote on item number 4. So therefore, I don't think that this proposal has been delivered to the school board in any proper manner. And so I think in fairness to the body, and those of you who have approached me wanting to consider an alternative proposal, that I will entertain a motion that we recess for less than 24 hours for this proposal to be forwarded formally to the director of schools and therefore the school board, and for this body to come back together and vote. If there is any response from the school board, for this body to come back and vote on that response prior to voting on item number 4. That's the only fair way I know that everybody's going to get a hearing.
Illegal.
Mr. Carter? Yeah, I'm happy to have you. Before I rule, I'm happy to have your comment.
Thank you for allowing me to come up this evening. Appreciate everybody here. Just a couple of items. First, with their disclosures referring to I asked our attorney to respond to some thoughts that I was getting that there was going to be an amendment to our budget, which I wanted to make sure that that was allowable, it was legal. The letter that he sent was basically saying that's not something that's allowable, which Mayor Reynolds just confirmed. That was the whole intent. It wasn't anything about trying to tell you what you can do and can't do. It's just saying that's something that can't be done, is to amend our budget, which is basically what's being proposed right here, is to amend our budget. We're not here to talk about a line item in our budget, we're talking about our overall budget.
Sir, there's not a proposal to amend your budget.
Right.
There's not a proposal to amend your
So,
budget.
so that's the key is, we're not here to talk about a rate, we're here to talk about the 24-25 school budget that was actually through a series of events. There were 2 projections of our submitted budget. So our school board went back to the table, made a decision, approved that decision unanimously to submit a balanced budget that would take out of our undesignated fund balance, which has been approved to be legal and able to be done. From there, the budget committee voted on June the 20th to approve that budget, 7-1 vote. That was on June 20th. Then in July, I was informed that our budget was not, it was dead basically, because it wasn't approved by the full commission on or before June 30th, which we had no control over. From there, I was told that this is what we'll do. Our budget would be set aside, the full budget would be approved, then there would be an amendment and a resolution made that would put our 24-25 budget back on the table, and then there would be a vote to accept that budget or not accept it, which is where we're at tonight on June the 30th. The question about sustainability is one that has been asked. And what I propose and what our guardrails or the barriers there that Mr. Mumpower mentioned in the letter, one of the things that he said first was that just want to keep you informed that, or make sure you're aware that there is going to be money from the state that's going to continue to come in for salaries. So there's one safe rail or guardrail that's in place by the state to help us. Number 2, we are making efforts countywide to curb the loss of students and actually gain students back and get students into our system so the city-county split is not causing us to lose funds. From there, I've met with almost every school. I've still got one more day of going to schools and visiting with their staffs to discuss with them their role and their responsibility in this, to do everything they can to get every dollar out of TISA that we can get so that we're supporting our own efforts to balance our budget. And there are ways that every teacher from kindergarten up through 12th grade can help and support that. And I asked them, I said, partner with me as we make this effort, as we do this work. I think tonight, that's what I'm coming before you right here, right now, is to ask for a vote tonight. And then in that vote, to partner with us, just like our teachers are partnering with us, so that we can continue to go forward and we can make Sullivan County's pay scale and the right to these people to be deserving of what they work so hard every day, and comparatively with our city systems, they need an effort to be there as well, to be even with that. So I just ask, please, if this committee would please consider a vote tonight, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carter, and certainly appreciate your remarks, and I think the stage is set for where we are, and as I say, I do react to our commissioners and their desire, because this is their job, this is what they were elected to do. And I think they will make every effort to do the fairest thing on part of county government, county taxpayers, and school system. If we had a vote tonight, I don't know how that vote would turn out, and you don't either. But I don't think we've considered all these possibilities. And as chairman of the commission, I want to get this done. Well, now, I'm telling you, if you all continue to do this, you just prolong the meeting. Every commissioner here wants to get it done, but they also want to, make good decisions on part of the community and the school system. Ms. King, Ms. Gardner, you're recognized. Let me say this. I think the thing about Mr. Glover has changed some of the playing field. And so, let me, John, you're recognized.
Thank you, excuse me, thank you, Mayor. Am I correct that item number 4 actually hasn't been presented to the floor yet, correct, sir? Item number 4 actually has not been presented to the commission yet tonight, correct?
We're not on item number 4, we're in a, commission and chairman privilege discussion.
In the event that item number 4 is presented this evening, I'd just like to remind everybody, item number 4 is the budget that the budget committee has spent several months working on. It's the one that's been approved by the budget committee, and I'd like to encourage everyone to support item number 4, and hopefully we will get to explore item number 4 formally this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A few months ago, Mr. Carter and I had conversations about this same situation and the dollar figures, and at that time, he felt like that was a decent proposal, and felt like that it would be fair across the board, especially to the support staff, especially getting them the 15% where they need to be and helping them. And I felt like when we had that discussion and bringing this forward, that it was kind of a mutual agreement that it would be a good idea. I have a hard time voting to give some folks a $6,000 or $7,000 raise, and some of those folks getting $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 raises. And some of these are going to be getting that amount. So that's what I have a hard problem with.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any further discussion? Next up, item number 4. Mr. Chairman, you're recognized on item number 4.
Thank you, Chairman. Commissioner. Item number 4 is the resolution.
I'm sorry, there you go. Okay.
Item number 4 is the resolution to amend the Sullivan County School Board appropriations to the amounts the Sullivan County School Board requested and approved by Sullivan County Budget Committee. I do feel like there's a couple things in here we ought to read just to make it official. Whereas Sullivan County General Purpose School Fund budget was not finalized for approval in time to be submitted to the Commission for its approval by June 30, 2024. Whereas the Comptroller Treasurer of the State of Tennessee has advised that due to the 2025 FY school budget having not been approved by June 30, 2024, the Sullivan County General Purpose School Fund by law automatically reverted to 2024 FY levels. And we voted on that earlier. We're all good there. So, now therefore be resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Sullivan County, Tennessee, assembled in regular session hereby amends the 24 appropriations for the General Purpose School Fund to the levels as requested by the Board of Education and approved by the Sullivan County Budget Committee for the 2025 fiscal year. Be it further resolved that the amounts reflected on the attached schedule be approved to meet the level of appropriations as requested by the Board of Education. And I believe everybody has all the correct numbers and all that. And it is. I mean, it's been mentioned here. There was a 7-to-1 vote. Voted against it because of the conversations with the Comptroller. He's already
discussions, it's all meant to try to protect our teachers and our school system. Our biggest fear, I promise you, our biggest fear is with the letter we got from the comptroller that this budget could possibly, this resolution could possibly be voted down, and nobody wants to see that. Everybody wants to see the teachers, the support staff, everyone get a raise, because there's nothing more important in this county than education. So don't take Commissioner Glover's comments wrong. Don't take the chairman's comments wrong. Everybody here is for the teachers getting a raise, and everybody here supports education. I've seen a few emails that we don't support education. Nothing can be farther than the truth. We support education because it's the only answer to all of our problems in this county. That's the only answer. So if there has to be a vote tonight, I have some issues with some administrators getting $15,000, $16,000, $17,000. I do. But if it still means that our support staff gets their money, the janitors get their money, the cafeteria workers get their raise, then I'm for it, and I'll be a yes.
Commissioner Iverson, you're recognized.
Over the past few weeks, we've talked several times about the budget.
Commissioner Iverson, could I interrupt just a minute?
Certainly.
We didn't properly get this item into the works. So Commissioner Akers, you moved adoption, seconded by Commissioner Calton and others. And now we're in discussion, and Commissioner Iverson, you're recognized. So we have the item in discussion.
So, back in December, as a BOE member, I actually said that we had the money in our budget then to give a $6,300 pay raise. I encouraged them to do that. The next month, I actually brought the information and data to them to show them where the money was at. And then later on, I decided to resign, so I was no longer on the board and was hoping that they were going to go forward with that. The comptroller, in his letter, says that if we proceed with this, we may be putting our county in financial distress. He said if we do this, that we need to make sure that we don't spend fund balance money on anything other than this pay raise, which means there's going to be a lot of requests and things that they want to do that they're going to be obligating this money to, and that's just from his letter. I'm a huge fan of Chuck Carter. I was excited when we hired him and still am, consider him a friend. Matt Price, been a friend longer than we've ever been on any kind of board together. And they both say, yes, this is sustainable. But Randall Jones in his WJHL comment says, no, it's not sustainable. He says, as a matter of fact, we need to meet quickly to develop a permanent funding formula. So he's the designer of the 15%, and he says it's not sustainable. So the BOE request, all we could do is approve or deny requests. We can't tell them how they're spending their money, and that was always one of the big things over there when I was there, is don't tell us how to do it. You can either approve it or deny it. The comptroller, by reviewing this, as a neutral party, reviewed this. He says in 3 to 3.5 years, they will deplete the fund balance, and that's if they stop spending from fund balance and all the things that they send over as far as appropriations. If we continue to approve fund balance expenditures, it will deplete it much faster. So I guess the problem that I've had in the beginning was use your own money out of your actual budget, not fund balance, because fund balance is not sustainable. Everyone knows fund balance is not sustainable. There is money inside their budget that they return every year, but that doesn't stop the expenditures of that. Easily take the numbers. I mean, it was provided by Larry Bailey's office. I mean, I gave it to him. It said, here's $400,000, move that to line item to payroll. Here's another one, move that to payroll. Here's that to move that to payroll. And you can actually fix the budget relatively quickly. The problem is the excessive high-end pay raises. The $6,300 is doable because it's inside their budget. It is being $4 million because I asked them how many teachers. They actually included all the administration. It was 652 at the time. That's a $4 million number. Add
benefits to it is $4.5 million. That was sustainable and doable inside their budget. But now we know that it's gonna take 7 people that are over 100,000 now to make that number 34 people over 100,000. None of those teachers, by the way. And all of those people now are gonna be making significant amounts of money. So we're talking about giving a teacher a $6,300 pay raise, an administrator $17,196 was the highest number we got. So that's just an excessive number. I mean, I understand and I'm all for people getting a pay raise. I think a $6,300 is a fantastic pay raise. I've never had one that big. I would love to have had a $6,300 pay raise.
Teacher.
So to sit back and say we're gonna give teachers a $6,300, and some of them do, absolutely, you're right, some of them do get more. But none of them get anywhere near what the administration's getting. We had one principal speak, and he's making $97,800. The most any teacher in our system with a doctorate, 30 years education, 30 years service, is $75,000. So that's a $22,000 difference already, and then theirs is gonna widen the gap on that. So I personally have a little problem with that, but that's outside the park. So the part that I do have a problem with is sustainability. And I agree with former Chairman Jones that a permanent funding formula needs to be established. And if we vote for something tonight, and we know that there is no permanent funding, funding formula established, then we're gonna do exactly what I've heard some of the people in this room complain about from the last commission. The last commission voted in a jail. The jail is going to have a tremendous amount of money needed next year. They voted in, we're gonna have to figure it out. So if we're gonna be hiring 100 new deputies for the jail, or whatever it might be, the jailers are 60 to 100. That's gonna be a tremendous amount of taxpayer revenues will have to come, and we're gonna have to figure out something we didn't make a decision on. So if we say yes to this without any kind of permanent funding formula, what we're going to do is make a decision today that causes the next commission to figure it out, because that's when it's going to come back to the taxpayers. And it's a huge tax increase. I want to help the teachers, I want to help the system, and I think that they can do that by staying inside their budget because the state gave them $10 million last year. That money is there. I've said it's there from December on, it's there. I've proved it's there. I showed them it's there. Use the money inside your budget. Don't use money that's outside your budget. It's basically trying to say, I'm going to buy a new car, but I'm going to take the monthly payments out of savings account versus checking account. It just doesn't work, and it doesn't make any sense. So I would be willing to work with them in any way we can to have meetings, which have never happened, by the way. I really want to have those discussions. I want to see what we can do, and I'd love to have those discussions. The Education Committee would be a fantastic resource. It's there, established. Have the conversations. But until we can sit back and say there's a permanent funding system, it's not like in 3.5 years we can go back and say, by the way, we're going to give you a 15% pay cut. You can't take it back. So where does it come from at that point? It's going to come from the taxpayers. So what we talked about in that first proposal to the Budget Committee was it's a 37-cent tax increase. That was what was asked for. Well, if we say yes tonight, it's the same 37 cents. It's going to happen in 3 years versus now. So I'm saying my recommendation is to say no and say, let's have a conversation. Let's see where we can work. Let's look at that budget again. I mean, we've got a couple people that are very good at budget, and they're willing to work with them to find the money inside that budget. Find something sustainable. It's insane to me to vote for something that is a problem, or not a problem, that is a forever funding with a very limited number of very limited amount. We had someone come up here a couple weeks ago and said that spending the fund balance is a bad idea. And I agree with them. Spending the fund balance is a bad idea. Never once have we said spend the fund balance. We said use the money in your budget, and the money is there in their budget. So the comptroller has said it's a bad idea. I think it's a bad idea, and I can't support it until we can find a permanent funding solution, which I think we can if we work together. But there is absolutely no incentive for the Board of Education to work with us until we tell them no. And once we tell them no, then they'll come and they'll work with us and we'll figure it out. I think we can figure it out. but saying yes to somebody getting a $17,000 pay raise, and they continue, we're always talking about the support staff, and I agree completely. But I looked at the numbers. Do you realize that the pay raise that one person in our system is going to get is more than 170 people in that system make annually? That's a problem. They definitely need a pay raise. They need, the support staff definitely needs a pay raise. The teachers definitely need a pay raise. But to sit back and say that we're going to give teachers a small pay raise and then a huge pay raise to people on the high end, I mean, a person making $100,000 in this county is already in the top 0.5%. It's not just top 1%. There's not 1,700 people in this county making $100,000.
Mark, I don't want to.
So, I'm sorry, I apologize.
We need to wrap it up. We've got other folks that won't be recognized, so, now, I don't want to impede any member's ability.
I do have one thing I need to say. I'll get back in line, but I do have one thing.
Okay, let's get Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know why it keeps getting tossed around that we can't tell them what to do with their money, but yet, basically, we are. We talk about why we want to do this, why we want to do that, but and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the top side getting the raises either, but I got a number today that is on the other end of that, and that's weighed on me more than anything. A lady that's been working the support staff, custodial staff, I believe for almost 30 years, not even making $27,000 a year. 6 children. My wife and I know what we make. We have 3 children, and it is extremely difficult to make it. I don't know how she's done it. It's been I know it's a very tough decision. I appreciate the work that those that have put into it, on both sides, have put into it. But that's who I'm thinking about tonight, and that's who I'll be thinking about when I vote.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Means, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just had a question for, if you could ask this question, answer this question because you've been here, or if someone who has been here prior to this commission. And I have a couple of questions. One of them is, has the commission in the past allocated money to the school system for teacher raises, and then the teachers or the staff or the employees not get a raise? Just out of curiosity, I'm new, I'm just asking. Has that ever happened before?
Are you asking me?
If you can answer it.
It has not happened before because the county commission is not allowed to direct how the bottom line number is spent. That's the job of the Sullivan County School Board. And the commission votes on a budget prepared, so no, money has never been given to the school board saying, you give this as raises, because that's not allowed under the law.
Okay. Okay. The other question I had was for Mr. Carter, if you're still here. You know I'm a big Mr. Carter fan, so just wanted to tell you I'm really glad for the things that you're bringing into our county, and you and I about the different areas of education. I just really appreciate that. But what I was wondering is, do we have anything in writing that says like an up-to-date strategic plan on the specifics of the how? You've said you're projecting for things to come in down the road, so I'm asking for if you have a specific, anything written down that we could look at, that we could hold in our hands and say that this is how he's going to do it, through just a projected potential amount that you're anticipating. And if you have that, I was just wondering.
So part of that is appropriated through the state. We don't know exactly how much, we know what it is this year. The amounts on our turning and rolling around Those are definitely projections, but that's something that we continue to stress every day now. Gotta get students back. So, no, I don't have that strategic plan to hand you to say this is exactly how it's going to be funded. But at the end of the day, I think it's the same thing as everyone else, all the other departments getting that 5% raise that's being proposed. What we can't appropriate, we want to be able to come back, and in conversations I've had with several different commissioners, is this year's going to be a tough year, next year's going to be a better year. We can help support you. So I think it's a combination of several things, including working together, as I said just a few minutes ago, partnering with our county commission to do what's right for our schools. And just let me just say just one thing real quick. When we say those at that top end, that's not fair for them to get that raise, you don't know the work. If you've not followed one of our administrators around, you don't know the work that they do. It's not a 9 to 5 job. It's not a 7 to 3 job. It's many times a 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, till about 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. And that's not one night, 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights. That can be 5 and 6 nights a week. Sometimes it can carry over into Sunday. And that's a normal week. And so their hours, if you were to take their salaries and divide it out, it's not like they're sitting up here at the top. Give them the overtime for the hours that they work if you want to see what they really need to pay.
Okay. I appreciate that, and our teachers are absolutely precious. Our school system has the best people that you would ever find around here in this region. I'm just thinking about business mind and your own personal goals. I think that's the kind of person that Mr. Carter is, and so that was it. That's all I was wondering. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Iverson, I was not going to cut you off. I was going to say, kind of wrap it up, but you're welcome. You're right now.
Just looking at item 4, actually the wording of it, it doesn't say this money is coming from the Board of Education. It doesn't say anything about using money from their fund balance. By reading this, it seems like we're funding this. So I think that needs to be clarified in the actual therefore of this, because it doesn't say that. It says all we're doing is increasing the appropriations, and it doesn't really show where the money's coming from. So I could be wrong, but me reading this, I don't see where the money's coming from, and I think that needs to be fixed.
Thank you, Mark. Commissioner Glover, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to respond to some comments that Commissioner Horn said there about the lower scale workers. In 21-22, the school employees got a 15% raise. The support staff got 1%. So we're going to take care of it next year. We're going to take care of it next year. It never happened. The proposal I've got that I'm recommending is 15% pay increase for the support staff, up to $62.89. So all the support staff will get the 15% raise up to that $62.89, whichever comes first, which will be at the top. That's where it comes from. And the $62.89 for each teacher and each administrator, that's more sustainable for the school department to fund, especially when they get some money back from the state. But this new teaser funding that they've got out is based on the amount of kids that you have in the school. And that's where the funding comes from. This past year, there's 225 kids lost. And that is the way the funding comes back from the state. And we're going to have to start working within the budget of the amount of kids that the school system has. That's the only way you're going to correct this. But I don't want to, I mean, I want them to get the $62.89. I want them to get $7,500. I want them to get $9,000, whatever that we can afford to give them. But it's going to be hard for me to sit here next year or year after next, whenever, and we look at a taxpayer and say, listen, we had to raise your taxes 35 cents because we had some people on a higher scale that needed $15,000 and $16,000 raises. I don't want to do that. But the proposal that we've got is a fair proposal. It treats everybody fair across the board, no matter if you're a first grade teacher, a kindergarten teacher, 11th grade, or administrator in the central office. $62.89. It's fair. And it will be sustainable for them to fund. And some of those folks over there are gonna get more in a raise than some of these little support staff people make a year. And that's the problem. I think this proposal needs to go to the school board. They need to sit down and talk about it and think about it and then come back to us. That's the only fair way to do it. But I just can't sit here and vote on 14, 15, 16, $17,000 raise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And we really need to consider how this is gonna be funded in the future. The county commission back in 22 had to pick up that 7 or 8 million that was proposed in. And we had to move forward with it and never, you know, that's what's gonna happen here if we ain't not careful. It's gonna be held, dropped at the bottom of our feet to fund again. Because if you vote and pass it tonight, it's in stone. Like Commissioner Iverson said, it's there. We gotta do it. But the school department could back herself in a corner for doing future things for the kids and for the schools and for the buildings. There's a lot to keep there to look at. So I think we need to look at the big picture and not rush into anything that's gonna get us all in trouble.
It's been months.
Commissioner Karen. Thank you.
I'm going to try to respond to Commissioner Iverson's question a little bit, so I'll read it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of County Commissioners of Sullivan County, Tennessee, assembled in regular session, hereby amends the 2024 appropriations for the general purpose school fund to the levels as requested by the Board of Education and approved by the Sullivan County Budget Committee for the 2025 fiscal year. So I feel like that's kind of saying that they're funding this. This is what they're asking for. Be it further resolved that the amounts reflected on the attached schedule be approved to meet the level of appropriations as requested by the Board of Education. And so, last year total appropriations were $89,919,142. This year's appropriation are $97,874,014 for a difference of $7,954,872 that they're requesting. And that's what's undesignated and everything.
Okay, the board get a clear, and before we vote, I want to make just one statement. The resolution to amend the 2024 budget is not allowable in it, but vote on this for everything else that you know about it. Vote yes or no on the question that's before you. Charlie told us we can't amend a budget in the past. We can only amend the budget that we have today. So you need to know that, but during this meeting, I felt like that we didn't have a safety net. And in my years of experience in dealing with critical people and essential people in our community, I wanted to have a safety net. A proposal came to me, and I thought that would be a safety net rather than you risk an up or down vote tonight. And I have not counted votes. I don't know how these people are going to vote. I have no idea. I just want you to understand that that's why a different proposal came forward. The board's clear. When the board opens, please cast your vote on item number 4. Requires 13 votes for passage. Everyone voted. Does anyone want to change your vote? Madam Clerk, take the vote.
12 out. 12 yes, 10 no, 2 absent.
Having failed to receive a majority, item 4 is rejected. That completes our resolution agenda. Again, thank you, Commissioner, for the hard work you've done over the last 5 months. And we will meet in regular session, subject to the call of the chair. Motion to adjourn. So moved. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. We're adjourned.
Aye.